All right, you entered a plea of no contest on January 19th, and you applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 15 years. There's a $1,500 fine. State opposes your application. They're taking in consideration 2022 CR 11026. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
I have, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, ma'am.
All right, state, you are opposed. Do you have any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Judge. Kimberly Molina is here and I'd like the court to hear from you.
All right, if she'll come forward, please. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, great. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
Okay. If you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you could state your name for the record.
Kimberly Lozano.
All right, so this is what we're going to do with this witness, Mr. Choshi. If you could let her stand closest to the court reporter just to make it easy for her to hear.
Of course.
See, Diana, I'm trying to make days better for everyone.
Ms. Lozano.
All right, defense.
Thank you. Ms. Lozano, thank you for coming down this morning. Tell Judge Boyd how you know Julian.
I know Julian because I'm friends with one of his brother's girlfriends. So I've known him for about 6 years.
Julian is how old today?
20 years old.
How well do you know Julian? Like, how much time have you spent with him in the last 6 years? Like, how deep is your connection to him?
I've spent about almost the whole 6 years knowing Julian. All my 3 kids know Julian. They're like to be around Julian. He's funny, playful with them. You know, no sense of fear towards Julian whatsoever.
Okay, so we kind of already got into it, but tell Judge Boyd the Julian Reyes that you know.
Yeah, the Julian Reyes is not the one that committed these crimes. He's always in the house, you know, he likes to play just outside. When he wasn't on monitor, he would like to go play basketball, you know, do normal kid things. It wasn't even like this type of person is not him. He's very playful with my kids, likes to be outside like a normal teenager, even though he's 20.
And just to be clear, we're not saying that he didn't do these things. We're saying that
Yeah.
this is not the.
This is not the Julian that I know whatsoever.
Okay. How old are your children?
10, 9, and 2.
And does Julian have a relationship with them or know them?
Yes, he knows them.
Are they fearful of him, or would you be fearful of Julian being around them?
No, I would not. They're not fearful of Julian. I would not be fearful to have them around him.
Have you ever seen or known Julian to be violent in any way?
No violence. Julian has never been violent that I've seen.
Does Julian have some issues that you're aware of that need to be addressed?
I feel like he does have not a big drug issue. I mean, he does not like he's taking drugs every day. It's just when he's going through something, this happens and he takes something, but it's not like if he's on drugs every single day of the week or anything like that. So no drug problem. He has a drug problem, but not where I would say every day, like he's so bad and danger to people.
Does Julian have a support network?
I would feel like he needs a little bit more support, a little bit more guidance.
I'm sorry, could you keep your voice up?
Sorry. I feel like he does need a little support system, a little bit better of a support system, maybe some guidance. Like I've talked to him while he's been in jail and I've offered to be there for him, you know, and help him more, guide him on the right way, because he doesn't really have too much of that.
And he has parents.
He
though.
has parents,
What
yes.
happened?
Parents, older brothers.
So he does have a support system in place.
Yes.
What happened to his father? Do you know?
Oh, his father had got killed. Shot and killed, yes.
Today we brought some pictures down and we've looked at these together. What are these pictures of?
This is one time, I think this was during Christmas, and that's Julian with his niece, and Julian with his son, again with the niece, and then his 2 older brothers and his mom.
Okay. And Judge, I don't have these marked, but I would like for you to.
So,
And state, do you have any objection to the court reviewing photographs?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will review the photographs that have been tendered.
If Julian were to receive probation by the court, are you somebody that would be willing to be part of his support group, help him in any way
yes.
that he might need?
Yes, of course.
All right, Judge, I don't have any other questions of Ms. Lozano, and pass to Mr. Garrett.
Thank you, Mayor. You're,
Yes.
Ms. Lozano?
Lozano, yes,
Yes, ma'am. I mean, you're stating that, Mr. Reyes is around your children,
yes.
or was rather. But you're aware that he takes Xanax roughly, 2 to 3 times a week?
I mean, when the time when I was around Julian, he wasn't like that. So,
Well, what about the times when he's around your children
no, he's not on Xanax.
that you're aware of?
Yeah, that I'm aware. And I would pretty much know because he's a completely different person.
Completely different person.
Yes.
On drugs.
Mhm.
And then also you're smoking 6 blunts daily of marijuana. You're aware of that?
Yes,
Okay, around your children or
not
not?
around my no.
So how are you aware of that though?
Well, because I would talk to him, so I would know that he was doing that, but I wasn't there.
Okay. And then you also know that he would snort cocaine about 1 gram per month.
Mhm.
You're aware of that?
Well, yeah, because like I would talk to him, I would know that he was doing that, but not
Okay.
around him.
At that time, you wouldn't allow him around your children then?
I mean, I wouldn't go around because I just don't do that stuff, so that's why I wouldn't go around and be around that.
And you've known him for how many years?
6.
No further questions, John.
Any further questions? I have a question. What is the sign language that's being used in this photograph by the defendant? Does anyone want to address that?
It looks like he's just saying okay to me.
Well, I mean, that would be okay if there wasn't the W.
You could ask Mr. Reyes, Judge. He's going to speak to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming in to testify. All right, defense.
Judge, I don't have any additional witnesses. Mr. Reyes would like to address the court, but before that, I'd like to address the court if I could.
Yes.
So, obviously, a bit of a large ask from the court. You've got a very young man with no criminal history that kind of comes off the blocks with some really big cases. And I'm not making any excuses. Julian has owned up to what he did. He did what you read in the PSI there. He set these things up. He had a weapon. We're not in any way trying to minimize that, but Julian is a 20-year-old kid who does have a bad drug problem. He really does. He's never been in denial about that. And it's gotten the better of him. And like I tell all my clients, either you control it or it controls you. And clearly these drugs, I'm not saying they made him go out and do that, but what I am saying is they certainly affected things that he was doing and the way he was thinking. I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, this kid is so remorseful about what he did and of course the situation he's. He does have his own dependent. He has a lot of stuff inside him, Judge, that you're going to hear about that really needs to get addressed. He needs more than drug counseling. He needs some real serious psychological issues. I think he probably has undiagnosed PTSD from a couple different things. Never made it to high school. I just feel like if you put him in prison, you're just going to, lack of a better way of saying it, throwing a kid away. I really believe it. A kid that wants help, a kid that needs help, and I think a kid that really could benefit from help. And so I understand there are victims. I understand how serious this is, but he's 20 years old and he's crying for help, and I hope you give it to him. His father was murdered. He wasn't there for that, but his father was murdered in Mexico, and that had a deep impact on him. And we talked about it. When he was 14, he witnessed a family member get murdered as well. And I know that had a deep impact on him. He's carrying around some large, heavy bags that he doesn't know what to do with. And then I think they led him down the path to drugs and the path to this violence. I believe his family when they say this is so far from the Julian they know, guns and violence. He truly is a really just kind
But
of.
didn't they address his issues in 2016? Because he was on probation in 2016 for retaliation. Then he had marijuana probation in 2017.
I don't know what they addressed back then, Judge. I didn't represent him. Probably not. I'm not sure if Julian was ready to be as forthcoming as he is about the issues that he has. So, and I understand that's part of his makeup. But on that issue, Judge, as big as an ask as it is, I really think that deferred would be much better for him than the prison. The prison is not going anywhere. If he doesn't make it, well, you can hammer him. But today I'm asking you to give him the help that he's asking for and that he really needs. And I want him to talk to you as well, Judge, so I don't want to swear him in.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. You need to keep your voice up if you'll state your name for the record.
Julian Reyes.
All right. Defense?
Do you want him over here, Judge?
He can stand there.
Okay. So Julian, I don't really have any specific questions for you, but I want you to tell the judge why you think you deserve deferred.
I just want to let you know, I'm like, if whatever happens, if you do end up sending me to prison, I just feel like that's not gonna make me no better. But if I'm not saying for you not to do that, but I feel like I do need a chance because I never had no guidance in my life, and I do have a baby boy out there. And I just want to be there for him. I know what I did was wrong, and I do take full responsibility on what I did. Because I know nobody should have, do that but like, and I do take those drugs, those pills, that I do have a problem like on those pills. And by like seeing my brother die, like really that made me go like more into deep in it. But when I'm on those pills, I'm not the person who I am, like how I am right now. But I feel like I do need a chance, and as I've been here for 5 months, I've been talking to God, and like I just feel like I got to do right, and I know I can.
You have a drug problem?
Sure,
Or are you asking for help?
feel mental for help.
That's all the questions I have, and just, Julian is not the most articulate
Oh, just
person.
1 second. State has questions.
And Mr. Reyes, you said you've never sort of had a chance here, but you were arrested in 2014. Do you recall being arrested for theft?
With that,
Yes, sir. The case was reviewed and closed. Do you remember that?
at school,
Okay. Yeah. And then also 2015 for criminal mischief. The case was rejected, but you were arrested for that. Remember that?
was criminal mission.
Meaning that you damaged something.
All right, so I'm gonna need you to speak up, okay? Pretend like it's okay if you speak like you're outside. I always tell people, the person who's the farthest person in the audience, talk loud enough so they can hear. All right.
Criminal mischief, the question was from Mr. Reyes was, what was criminal mischief? It means that you damaged something that wasn't yours. Do you recall that back in 2015?
I don't remember.
Okay. Then you also were placed on probation for retaliation back in 2016. Do you recall that?
I don't know what the retaliation for. I remember saying something at school.
Okay, but you were on for 6 months probation, it states. Do you remember being on probation for 6 months? Okay, so you had a chance then to correct your ways, right?
I did.
Okay, and you did not. Is that correct?
Straight.
Okay. And then also you got picked up in 2017 for possession of marijuana, and you also had 9 months probation back in 2018. You do recall that, right?
So
And at that time, you had a chance to address your drug problems, and you chose not to. Is that right?
I did, but that was before my brother had passed away.
Okay. So you're stating that you committed these 2 ag robberies because your brother passed away?
I'm not stating that. I'm stating because I had started doing pills a whole lot.
Okay, but you do remember committing these two. I mean, these 2 ag robberies happened. One happened in January of 2021. The other one happened in September of 2022. You committed 2 different ag robberies with a gun, right?
So
Okay. No further question, John.
All right, so I have a question. What is the sign language?
I'm not sure. He's asking you with your hand, or what is that?
it's just something me and my brothers just,
Yeah, but what does it mean?
like brother love.
That's not according to American Sign Language.
That's how we do it.
That's not West Side.
No, that's not what's up.
Alrighty. Well, brotherly love with the W.
Brotherly love.
That, Judge, that, just from the state's point of view, that does look like, more of a Playboy bunny rather than.
So that's what I'm seeing in the photo.
I
But I will take your word for what that means. So here's my question for you. And this is just straight from the police report, and I'm trying to figure out where your thought processes were. In the report, it says that you pulled a gun out. Let me go to the exact thing it says. It says the victim stated he saw the suspect pull out a handgun from the suspect's waistband, pull the gun slide back, and pointed the gun at the victim. Suspect then said, "Give me the phone, drop it on the floor, don't try anything or I'll bust a cap." The victim stated, "Don't do this." So my question is, what were you thinking when you were pulling the slide back?
I was thinking that, oh, yeah,
Well, I mean, there had to be some thought process because this person was trying to sell this phone online and he set up a sale on an app on OfferUp. So somebody had to say, yes, I want to buy this item you're selling. Then there had to be a place to arrange to meet. Am I right?
sure.
So did you go on OfferUp, see it, and make an arrangement to go meet?
But like,
So here's my question. When you were on OfferUp, did you scroll through different items and say, this looks like a good item? How did that happen?
I was just under the influence and just doing something that I shouldn't have been doing.
Well, no, I mean, I know you're saying you're under the influence, but I'm wondering what your thought process are. Because if you're under the influence, you have to say, I'm going to go and OfferUp. I'm going to look for somebody who's selling something, somebody who looks like I can rob them. So then after you go and OfferUp and you say, yes, I will pay that price. Let's meet at this location. You all meet at the location. So then once you meet the person at the location, you had to find them and say, this is the guy, this is the person, this is what they said they will be wearing. You had to say, I'm taking a gun with me. And then when the person presented the cell phone for you to see, you had to have said, okay, I'm pulling out my gun because I want the cell phone. That's a lot of thought process that goes in for somebody who's high. So I'm just trying to figure out, what were you thinking during each stage of this robbery?
I wasn't thinking on it.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from either side?
Not from the state. Your Honor.
I don't have any additional questions.
All right. So the court will hear argument. State, you're opposed?
Yes, Your Honor. State's position is that the defendant has had previous chances to correct his ways. And when he was on bond or on this ag robbery that he currently pled to, there is another ag robbery that we're taking into consideration that he committed while he was on house arrest and committed at his own house.
Counsel.
So the fact is, Your Honor, the state's position is that the defendant has had his chances on even some type of supervision. So the state's position is that the 15 years TDC would be appropriate in this case.
All right. Defense?
Judge, every day as a sitting district judge, you have opportunities to quite literally change people's lives. And, today you have that chance right now. I'm never a fan of throwing anybody as young as him away to the prison system, where I truly believe that he's asking for and can be helped by the things that are available through this court to help him. And so I just, understanding the serious nature of the case, you can change his life in a good way. And in 10 years, he can talk about the judge that really saved his life. His intentions are sincere. I believe that he's not a violent person despite the horribly violent things that he did. And that he really, truly wants to change his life. A lot of people will come and tell you that. This kid means it. And the only way that's going to happen is if you allow it. So I hope that you do that and that you don't throw his life away.
All right. So, Mr. Reyes,
Yes, Your
I
Honor.
will tell you, I look at each case on a case-by-case basis. And sometimes, well, I would say really all of the time, when someone is sentenced, part of it, if they receive probation, even if they receive probation, part of it is punishment, because it's the punishment of probation. Or if they go to prison, it's the punishment of prison. And then it's also about rehabilitation. And sometimes rehabilitation has to occur at the prison. I'm going to deny your applications. I'm going to find you guilty. I can ask that you be referred to the therapeutic community. I can't force them to place you in a therapeutic community, but you can apply for it and see if they will accept you. I'm going to sentence you to 14 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. Take in consideration 2022 CR 11026. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money run concurrent, and there's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. Showing you trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Mr. Reyes, did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. We can go off the record. Mr. Reyes, I take no pleasure in sending people to prison. One of the hard parts of this job is I don't have a crystal ball to tell me how people are going to do. And I know that you're young, and I know that you're probably thinking it's the end of your world because it's 14 years prison. But in actuality, at some point in time, you're going to get out of prison. What you need to do when you go to prison, once you internalize that you're in prison, once you say, that judge, I hate that judge, or whatever, I can take it. You need to see about getting your education while you're at the prison. I've been a defense attorney. I've had clients who've gone to prison before. I even had a client who was younger than you, who was found guilty of murder and got sentenced to 40 years in prison. And let me just tell you, when he was sentenced to 40 years in prison, that broke my heart inside because he was very young. And my thought process was, oh my gosh, why did they do this to him? Because he can do so much with his life. He had a hard upbringing. His mom's not there for him. She's more there for her boyfriend. She didn't take care of him. He's trying to take care of his sisters. And you know who helped me get through that? My mom. I called her and my mom is like, Stephanie, your client was found guilty of killing somebody. That person that they killed, they're not going to have any life. Your client still will have a life when he gets out. So you still will have a life when you get out. And whether or not you were on probation or going to the prison, this time is going to pass. It's what you do with the time that's passing that's going to help you. You can go to the prison, get your college degree for free. You can go to prison, get drug treatment for free. You understand? And when you come out of prison, you need not be around the people you were previously around. So you still can change your life, still can do good things. Good luck to you.
My name is Happy. I upload courtroom video for education purpose. This video may contain copyrighted works not specifically authorized for use, but believed in good faith to be protected by the fair use doctrine under Section 107 of U.S. copyright law.